I'd like to tell you about my 10 favorite board games.
Cool. Go right ahead.
Okay, my number 10 game is 1960, The Making of the President. It's a game about the United States presidential election of 1960. One player plays as Richard Nixon, while the other plays as John F. Kennedy.
Isn't that kind of a strange topic for a board game?
Well, politics is an interesting subgenre of board games with classics such as Dimature and Diplomacy.
But why that particular election?
The 1960 presidential election is very interesting in a lot of ways. It is one of the closest in history, with Kennedy winning by 112,000 votes. Kennedy was the youngest president elected and the first Catholic. The campaign had a number of interesting events that could be used in a board game.
Okay, I'm convinced. What kind of game is it?
1960 is a combination board and card game. The board has a map of the United States divided into states and regions. The players are dealt a hand of special game cards that all have to do with events that really took place during the 1960 presidential campaign.
So do you have to win states just like in the real election?
That's right.
And some states are more important than others?
Yes, the game uses the electoral votes from each state to decide the winner, and more populous states have more votes. In fact, the board itself is fascinating, as you can see how much change there has been in the populations of the states from 1960 to today.
Wow, New York has 45 electoral votes and today it only has 34. And look at how few votes Florida and Arizona had.
Yes, you'll learn a bunch about the period just by playing the game.
Why is the board divided into 4 regions?
In the game, you are not only trying to gain support in individual states, but also trying to get media advantage at a regional level. You can get regional endorsements, which will throw states that are tied for support to you. And you can also gain an advantage on various campaign issues nationally.
How do you play?
The game is played over the course of 7 turns, with special turns for a debate and election day.
What do you do on your turn?
Every turn, each player is dealt a hand of cards that they will play during that turn. One player plays a card first, followed by the other, and then back and forth.
And you said that the cards were all events from the actual campaign?
That's right. Some events benefit one or the other player, and some are good for both. Also, each card has a campaign point value. Generally, the more powerful the event, the higher number of campaign points it has.
Why would you play a card that benefits your opponent?
Usually you don't want to. If you play your own event, you have to decide whether to have the event occur or take the campaign points. If you play the other player's event, then they have the option of triggering the event if they have enough momentum, which you can earn during the play of the game.
What do you do with campaign points?
You can use the points to gain support in individual states. When you have more support in a state on election day, you win its electoral votes. You can also use the points to purchase advertising in one of the 4 regions. This helps on some of the cards and allows you to more easily campaign in a state that is going overwhelmingly for your opponent. Finally, you can use the points to get an advantage on the 3 national policy issues of defense, the economy, and civil rights.
It sounds like there are a lot of choices.
There are, and the decisions create a lot of tension. If you like that sort of thing in a board game, this is one to check out.
It seems like winning the high-value states would be important.
Absolutely, and that causes the players to fight over the same ground. Important decisions in the game are when to continue to fight or move on to other states or try to gain ground on the issues. Some of the decisions are based on the cards you have in your hand. At the beginning of each turn, you should try to make a plan that plays into the cards you have. Of course, your opponent is trying to do the same.
How do you win?
The final turn of the game is a special election day turn. You get to play some cards that you set aside earlier in the game to have a final chance to turn the tide in some states. Then all the electoral votes are counted. Whoever wins the most votes wins the presidency.
Why is this game in your top 10?
The game nails its theme completely. The combination of the historical cards and the board puts you in the mood of a political campaign. The decisions that you have to make are very interesting, and there is significant player interaction, as you have to try to think about countering your opponent as you try to execute your own plan.
It sounds great. I can't wait to try it.
Okay, let's play.